What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Eric Threet II. The first OHSAA postseason brackets came out for the girls, which means we get to talk about favorites, upsets, Cinderellas. In addition to that, online host Blake Baker will bless you all with tips on how to be successful during the postseason. So stay tuned for episode 6 of Hardwood Heroes. It's that time of year postseason. This word means no games you win or you watch. Tonight, our reporters have the task of breaking down teams and what their chances to advance are. Now, there are 16 teams in the Tri-Valley Conference, 15 of which are in Ohio, and they spread across 3 divisions. So let's take a look at the first playoff bracket. The Lady Eagles finished second in the Hawking and received the 2nd seed in this bracket. Fed Hawk, South Gallia, and Miller are all looking to be dark horses. Waterford and Belpre are 2 of the best in the TBC and 2 of the best in their bracket and could be on a crash course for their 3rd game this year. Lady Buckeyes, they fell behind in the TBC Ohio, but they'll cause teams problems with their aggressive play style. The team that Nelsonville York failed to keep up with, right here, the number 1 seed, the Lady Spartans. They're the favorite in this bracket. The Lady Vikings have won 4 of their last 5 games and look to continue that against an unfamiliar opponent. In Athens, they have the lowest seed in this bracket, but 8-9 matchups can go either way. And the Lady Marauders have Jackson, a team that beat them by 5 earlier this year. The boys still have a week left, and these are the standings as of Friday. Waterford remains undefeated. Miller had a chance to catch up to Trimble, but fell short Friday. Hey, but watch out for the Falcons. They can compete with anybody. Wahama, Eastern, and Belpre, they continue to swap spots. And Fed Hawk, they have at least 2 more chances to win a game this year. Now, the Vinton County Vikings have had no problems winning this year. They avenged their only loss to Alexander, beating them by 25. Now, last week, Megs went up against 2 teams ahead of them in the TBC Ohio, lost both games. This week, they faced the bottom 2 teams. Reporters Clark Woolley and Jacob Hack join me now. Were the Marauders able to turn it around this week?
You know, Eric, a complete turnaround from what we saw last week. You know, I suspect the Marauders came into this week with a chip on their shoulder after that 1-point loss to Vinton County last Friday.
Megs began the week traveling to Nelsonville York, where they would eventually pull away from the Buckeyes and come out with an 80-53 win. They then followed that Friday night with a 42-37 win over Wellston.
Against NY, the Marauders used a 13-0 run with a minute 30 left in the first half to distance themselves from the Buckeyes, and it was all over from there. Isn't that right, Jake?
Oh, no doubt, Clark. Not only was I impressed with how Megs was able to dominate on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, but I was impressed with the manner in which they did it.
Jake, you know, Coach Fry has utilized his bench like no other. Their depth allowed 4 different Marauders to score in double digits in that game against NY. Guys like Weston Bear, Zach Helton, and Bailey Carruthers can provide some life off the bench. I think their chances of making a deep postseason run are pretty good.
Now, what's going on with the ladies?
As for the girls, Eric, they closed their season going 500 on the week. The Lady Marauders defeated Vinton County Tuesday by a final of 53-35. Leading the way for the ladies was Devin Humphreys with 12 points. Unfortunately, though, the Lady Marauders were unable to keep the momentum rolling into Thursday as they fell to the first place Alexander Lady Spartans 71-28.
Yeah, Jake, you know, it was a long struggle for Megs offensively as they shot just 22% from the field on 11 of 50 shooting. The leading scorer was Madison Hendricks with only 7 points.
If the ladies want to make a run in the state tournament, they obviously have to be better offensively. They have to create more space so they can get key players like Devin Humphreys, Cassidy Betzing, and Madison Fields open shots and passing lanes so they can distribute to other players for easy buckets.
Megs faces off against 5th-seeded Jackson next Wednesday. The winner of that game will play number 1 seeded Sheridan. Eric, that'll be a good one.
Sheridan is one of the NVL's best, both boys and girls, but we got to take it one game at a time. Thank you, guys. Now, if you wish you could see all the games throughout the TBC throughout the week, but you can't, I got you. What you can do is go on to Hardwood Heroes Snapchat and catch live action from the games around the TBC. You can send us snaps too. Any loud or extravagant fans, any tough buckets, even if you're feeling yourself and want to send us a selfie, do that. You may be on our show. Now, somebody needs to send Nelsonville York a wake-up call. The Buckeyes are sitting at the bottom of the TBC Ohio, and I'm joined by Nelsonville York reporter Bree Boothby. How are they making progress in resolving their issues, Bree?
No progress as I see it, Eric, but it's not for a lack of effort. A lot of unlucky play, maybe. Regardless of the reason, the Buckeyes are coasting in at the bottom of the TBC Ohio, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
So what happened with them this week?
Well, Eric, there was a lot of hope for the Buckeyes as they took on Meigs and River Valley this week, but both turned out to be conference losses for NY. It didn't help that senior Hunter Edwards was pulled against the Marauders on Tuesday after dealing with the flu, and it must have carried into last night's game as he didn't play against the Raiders either. As always, fellow senior Aaron Davis helped carry the team with 28 points against the Marauders, but it still wasn't enough to win the close game. The 3-point loss to River Valley marked the 8th straight loss for Nelsonville York. The Buckeyes were up a majority of the game, so they need to work on finishing a full game of basketball.
It's been a tough season for them, but they'll get a fresh start in a few weeks. The girls, they've put themselves in great position for the playoffs.
Can anyone name a more iconic trio than Jesse Addis, Sam Taylor, and Cameron Dupler? The three continue to lead the Lady Buckeyes in points week after week and did so again when the team took on the River Valley Lady Raiders Monday. They dominated by more than double the points in a 52-25 victory.
Now let's talk about Jessie Addis right quick and how special a player she is.
Eric, it was a special week out at Ben Wagner Gymnasium as not only did the team celebrate senior night, but junior Jessie Addis became the first junior in Nelsonville York school history to score 1,000 points. She scored the 1,000th point after a layup in the third quarter. They stopped the game and Addis was presented with a plaque and the game ball and immediately went up to the stands to hug her family. Addis hasn't been herself the past couple weeks. She's been battling a hamstring injury, but still manages to be a leading scorer day in and day out.
Consistency. 3 years in a row. Nelsonville York is going to be happy to have her back next year. Thank you for the great work, Bree. Now, basketball is a challenging game. It takes coordination, athleticism, but what happens when diabetes is thrown into the picture? Alexander reporter Maggie Shandrick is going to tell us how one Lady Spartan deals with this.
Playing basketball hasn't always been easy for senior Alexis Moeller. Here's how she is making the adjustment on and off the court. Diabetes, a condition that occurs when the body cannot properly control the amount of sugar in your blood because it does not produce enough insulin, is something senior Alexis Moeller has to deal with every day on and off the basketball court. But this isn't something she has been experiencing her whole life. Moeller was just diagnosed with diabetes her junior year of high school.
During conditioning, one time I passed out, and then feeling anxious and getting really hot and red during the game, everything just adds up and it makes a ton of sense now.
She spent a day in the hospital running multiple tests to find out she has type 1 diabetes.
When I got there, I was really angry because of all the pricking and the poking and everything, and I just wanted to get out of there and not even think about it. But I just accepted reality, I can't change it, so I might as well just make the best out of it. Before a game, I always check it, and if it's high, I correct it, and if it's low, I just drink a juice or eat a granola bar or something.
Her insulin is regulated by a pod on her arm that is wrapped during games. Alexis's mom stocks the locker room and the bench with snacks just in case her blood sugar falls.
Just her being responsible and taking the steps she needs to take, because I feel like some of the times in the game I can tell her sugar's high and she's not going to take herself out of the game to check her sugar. Or I can tell when it's low because she gets the deer in the headlight look and she's not going to check it.
She also lets her coaches know how she is feeling and if she is ready to go before tip-off.
We need to make sure we know where you're at all times. If you need to come out, just tell me, I'll take you out. She literally is not asked out of the game one time, all season plus summer basketball.
While it was difficult to accept her situation, she realizes it is going to affect her the rest of her life. She said being diagnosed with diabetes has made her more organized and responsible.
I thought it was going to be terrible, and I took the best out of it, and it really taught me a lot.
But she says she wouldn't be able to do all of this without her family, friends, teammates, and coaches. It's always nice to see athletes overcoming battles, but unfortunately, Alexis is currently out with a concussion. She hopes to get back on the court before playoffs begin.
Attitude is everything. She's an amazing young lady. Thank you, Maggie. Now, I come away from this learning how to overcome adversity, but I also learned through this tweet from Matthew Summers that cats appreciate our program. I don't think we've ever had a cat featured in a tweet of the week in Hardwood's history, but thank you, Sugar. I love your name. I might name my first child after you. It's like, no, I'm just playing. My mom would choke slam me. You never want to get on your mother's nerves. You also don't want to get on Vinton County's nerves. The boys are still #1 and the ladies are gearing up for a potential playoff run. Mr. Extra himself, Tyler Corbett, joins me now. How did the Lady Vikings finish their season?
Well, Eric, this week, it was really symbolic of their entire season. It was an up and down week in which they beat the teams they were supposed to beat and lost to the teams that they weren't supposed to beat. They dropped their first game of the week to Megs, 53-35, but would rebound and beat River Valley 48-39. The Vikings ended the regular season at 10-12, but looking to next year, the Lady Vikings have a very high ceiling. The nucleus of players are all underclassmen. Cassie Bentley, Sammy Thompson, Aaron Jones, and Darian Radaball are all juniors, while Josie Ousley, who coached Rod Bentley, called one of the best defensive players in the TVC, is only a freshman. There's a lot of room to grow for the young group of ballers from MacArthur.
Now, the strength for the boys is their upperclassmen. On offense, the Vikings, I won't say unstoppable. They're not unstoppable, but they're really tough to stop.
Yeah, Eric, and just to say that they went off this week, it would be the biggest understatement of the week. They dropped 104 points against River Valley. That's their second 100-point game of the year. Even crazier, 104 points set a school record. But it gets wilder from there, because that might not have even been their most impressive win of the week.
How? They scored 104 points.
Well, a big win against the only team that has beat them this year is how you do that, Eric. The Alexander Spartans handed the Vikings their only L on the year earlier in the season. And this time around, the crowd at Vinton County High School is going absolutely crazy. There wasn't an empty seat when the freshman game started at 5, a sellout by 5. The 70-45 win against the Spartans, Derek Jones saved his biggest half of basketball for the Vikings' biggest game. Jones scored all 11 of Vinton County's first quarter points. He would end the first half and the game with 18 points, being the spark plug that the Vikings needed. On defense, senior Caleb Montgomery made a huge impact coming off the bench. Playing like a free safety, Montgomery was a one-man wrecking crew, stopping any Spartan that came at him. The senior leadership from players like Jones, Montgomery, and Tristan Bartow will be big come tournament time because the Vikings are looking to make a big run, and those three, they're going to be key.
They breed bucket droppers in MacArthur. Thank you for the stellar journalism, Tyler. Now, this is the time where true bucket droppers come out, the postseason. The seedings were announced for the girls, and online host Blake Baker will break down how some of our top teams can make some noise.
Thanks a lot, Eric. We're getting down to one of my favorite times of year. It's tournament time. So today, I'm going to break down what some of our top teams need to do to really make a run in this year's postseason. We're going to break down the top 2 teams in the Ohio and the Hocking. So we'll start with the Waterford Lady Wildcats. One thing that they do a really good job of is creating creative defensive schemes. You see a 1-3-1 zone here, but it's not your traditional 1-3-1. Now, why, you ask? They put guards at the top position and in the paint. And they do that because they're the quickest players. They can easily get out to the perimeter on open shooters and really not allow any open shots. And they have to play through Allie Kern and Megan Ball, but they have to find other players to contribute heavily. Another team in the Hocking, the Eastern Lady Eagles, have a dominant post player in Elizabeth Collins. They need to utilize her, structure their game plan around her ability to produce in the paint, and they're gonna make some noise also. The other thing that Eastern has to keep in mind is they only have 7 players on their bench, only 7 players that you can utilize. They have to keep those girls out of foul trouble and really get the most out of them. Now, let's switch over to the Ohio. Alexander Lady Spartans have dominated all year long. And one reason why is because they play fast. They get at you fast early and often. You can see that they outscore their opponents in each half, but particularly in the first half. They get out in the games that we looked at, double the points of their opponents in the first half. That's allowed them to really get out to a fast start and put teams out of their misery early. Another team in the TVC Ohio, Nelsonville York Lady Buckeyes, one of the quickest teams that we cover. Jesse Addis, Cameron Dupler, they're so fast. They got to get into the paint, inside the perimeter, and really make some stuff happen. Once they get inside the perimeter, their chances for scoring really go up. They got to get good looks, and they got to convert on those looks. 12% difference in wins and losses, that's going to be huge for them. Eric, I'm really excited to see what some of these talented teams can do in this postseason. Really looking forward to see how it all plays out.
And all of these teams have talent. And Blake typically isn't wrong. I think you'll be better off taking his advice. Thank you, Blake. Now, Blake only mentioned teams that are top ranked. What about FedHawk? It's my pleasure to welcome Lancer League reporter Clark Wicks. He's going to talk about FedHawk's playoff chances.
Now, Eric, despite their 20-point loss to Miller Thursday night, these girls are still one of the tougher teams in the Hocking. Sitting at 4th place in the division, the Lady Lancers have made an enormous amount of progress since losing 6 of their first 7 games. Now, they have just 1 game left. It's against a struggling Wahama team that has yet to win a conference game. If they can pull off that win, Federal Hocking was sitting at 12-10. That's a perfect record for a dark horse team come time for the playoffs. They have the leadership they need behind senior Destiny Taylor, who scored her 1,000th career point last week in the Lady Lancers' 70-point win over Wahama. With scorers like Kaylee McPherson and Hannah Dunphy on the floor, this team may be able to surprise some people in the postseason. Now, Eric, The Lady Lancers played well enough to secure a 5 seed in the playoffs. They match up with a 6-loss Sims Valley team who earned a 4 seed. It'll feel a lot like a home game for the Lady Lancers as these two teams will play at Meigs High School, which is almost an hour and a half away for Sims Valley. If Federal Hawking can keep the turnovers to a minimum and out-rebound their opponent, they can definitely fill that Cinderella team role.
Now, what does having a senior like Destiny Taylor do for this team?
She does everything for them. She gets assists, rebounds, steals, points, whatever they need in a close game, Destiny Taylor's there for them. She did it last year, she's doing it this year.
And they've grown so much from last season. Now they're sitting with a record above 500, and they could well be a dark horse. Now the boys. What are their chances looking like, man?
Well, Eric, you know what they say. Everybody has the same record at the start of the postseason. While they may not have won a game yet this season, the Lancers have continually gotten better all year long. First-year coach Josh Vernon has begun experimenting with giving bench players more minutes. Vernon is toying around with the lineup and incorporating big man Canyon Jarvis, who provides valuable rim protection and rebounding the Lancers have desperately needed all season long. With 2 weeks left before the playoffs start, this team will begin to develop a new look, making them incredibly hard to scout. A new look could possibly throw some teams through a loop and give the Lancers an advantage.
I love your optimism, and that was a very intelligent perspective. As always, thank you for the great work, Clark. Now, we are 6 episodes deep, and we have a lot of information to share about you and your TBC teams. Any Hardwood Heroes video will be released on our YouTube page at WOUB PBS, so study up. You may see one of your conference members in the playoffs, and that sting would be so much worse if you lost to your rivals, so prepare. Look at our videos on our YouTube page. Now it's time to take it a step further. Earlier this year, we looked at Griffin Lutz and what he does for this Bulldog team, but their whole squad is nice. They're second in the TBC Ohio. Athens reporter Taylor Nimmo is here to break down the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Eric, the Athens Bulldogs have been pretty smooth, so you're in luck. I'm going to dive right in and break down the Athens offense. So let's start with Griffin Lutz, and he is the catalyst. We've known that all season. He'll set up this play nicely here. He's got 2 options. Hines out in no man's land, but he's going to make some eye contact with Eli Chubb right here. He'll back it up into his defender, make a little fake like he's going to take it in himself, but nope, he'll hit Chubb where he'll finish it off with a nice 3.
Now, we know Griffin can score from all places of the floor, and it's a strong asset that he can facilitate as well.
Yeah, that's right. Athens has definitely improved on that this year. They're really good at moving the ball around, and here's another example of that with this play. And Griffin will bring this one up. There's lots of movement down low. They're weaving. He'll hit Kozart with the pass right here, and all eyes are on Kozart and Brody Ball right in the middle, but no one seems to notice that Dickelman is off on his own. So he'll take advantage of that. He's going to pop out top. Kozart will hit him with the pass, and he'll drive that straight into the basket, and no one is stopping him now.
They all love to attack, and they're all pretty smooth. They do a great job at spacing the floor and attacking the open space.
That's exactly right. That's why they're able to execute the plays like this. They're able to keep their composure, and you'll rarely see this team panic, and you can see that here in this play. They start here by spreading things out. They're keeping that lane pretty open, pulling the defenders out, and you'll want to keep an eye on Dickelman right here as he's going to set the pick, which will allow Kozart to make this pass out on the wing. So he'll look for Lutz, and he'll look for Dickelman to ultimately finish it off, and that's the teamwork we're talking about right here.
Great finishing. I mean, this shows the amount of talent this team has.
And that's exactly right. We've been able to see just how much this team has matured, and I'm talking both individually and as a team, Eric. And that's all I've got for you. Lots of good stuff going on for the Bulldogs, Eric.
There's always some good stuff going on in Athens. Thank you for breaking down for us, T-Nims. Now, Facebook has the best of both worlds, video recaps and game stories. And we want you guys to go on, like and share our stories, not only the ones that apply to you, but ones that speak to you. We have a lot of content, but there's always more. Reach out to us. Tell us about any teams or people that you believe we should look into, and a majority of the time, Hardwood Heroes can make it happen. Now, one team that has been a storyline all year is the Waterford Wildcats. Both boys and girls are heading into the playoffs as TBC Hawking champions. Waterford reporter Justin Cuddy, he is here with me. They're so excited out there. What is it like out in Waterford right now?
It's a great time to be a Wildcat right now, Eric. Both Waterford teams were given the chance to seal the deal this week and clinch the top spot of the TBC Hawking with a win, which they are both able to pull off.
Now, when you talk about the Lady Wildcats, they went into Belpre and beat them on Monday night.
Well, at the final whistle, it was all but glory for the Lady Wildcats, who clinched their 3rd division title with a 63-23 victory.
Now, was this an offensive performance or a defensive performance?
It was a little bit of both, Eric. The Lady Wildcats were able to shut down Cheyenne Barker, who has been Belpre's greatest scoring threat this season. She went 1 for 8 from the field and was limited to only 6 points in the end. On the other side of the ball, it was Megan Ball and Allie Kern leading the offense, which is no surprise there. The two combined for 29 points and were backed up by Hannah Duff, who finished the night with 10 points, and another 9 coming from Rachel Adams off the bench.
I mean, this comes as no surprise. Both teams are so tough. What about the boys?
Well, the Wildcats did not play as well as the girls. Instead of winning by 40 points, they only won by 39 in their Friday night matchup against Eastern, which ended with a score of 76-37. Waterford went into this looking to maintain their perfect conference record and had no problem doing so. Offensively, the team did a great job moving the ball around and promoting unselfish play, which has been a huge factor to their success this season. 3 players found themselves in double digits with points, including Jordan Welch, who finished the night with 19, and Andrew Thyman with 14 off the bench. The Wildcats consistently scored 20-plus points in 3 quarters and limited the Eagles to just under 10. Jet Facemeyer still had himself a game, scoring 23 of the 37 points for Eastern, but with the rest of the team scoring 5 points or less, there was no chance of a comeback. At the final whistle, the Wildcats had earned themselves bragging rights as champions of the TVC Hawking.
They keep winning. Nobody has stopped them thus far, and they're putting themselves in great position for the playoffs. Thanks, Jake Cutts. Now, the Wildcats' Hawking rival. They've been right behind them all season long. However, the last couple weeks have been rough for the Trimble Tomcats. I have Trimble reporters Nick Niehaus and Paul Roth with me. Fellas, were they able to turn it around this week?
Well, Eric, this week didn't get much better for either the boys or the girls.
That's right, Nick, and the boys were on the wrong side of a huge upset against Belpre. It was the first time in 6 years that Belpre was able to get a win over Trimble.
Yeah, and it looked like it was going to be a lopsided game in Trimble's favor as they were able to get off a quick 8-0 run to begin the game. It wouldn't last long, however, as the Belpre defense figured out how to contain the whole Trimble team except one player.
And that one player was Tyler Slack. He put up 25 points and 7 rebounds. However, the rest of his teammates were slacking as no other Tomcat could manage more than 7 points.
The Trimble defense wasn't much better either, as they just could not stop the duo of Dejan Bedgood and Matthias Houghton. They both accounted for a combined 48 points, and Matthias shot 80% from the field.
Now, Trimble made a late push in the 4th quarter and cut the lead to just 7 points, but that's as close as they could get as Belpre held on for the 66-52 win. And as you know, Nick, the girls didn't fare too well this week either.
Yeah, the Lady Tomcats had to face the powerhouse that is the Eastern Lady Eagles for the 2nd time this year. Trimble dropped their first matchup against Eastern earlier in the year, and not much has changed this time around, as Eastern was dominant right out of the gate.
And where they were the most dominant was in the paint. The Lady Eagles owned the battle of the boards, and Elizabeth Collins had 22 points in the paint. But they didn't just show out offensively, they also came with a stifling defense.
That defensive pressure just killed the Tomcats offense as they turned the ball over way too many times. Those turnovers just lifted the Lady Eagles offense even more as they were able to turn those turnovers into easy transition buckets. The Lady Tomcats couldn't figure out how to cut the deficit before they fell in their final regular season game 65-31.
Now, even with the disappointing loss to Belpre, the boys were able to salvage their week with a win at home against Miller.
And the girls will look to keep their season alive in the tournament when they face St. Joseph's on Monday.
Hey, like I said earlier, 8-9 matchups can go either way. The Lady Tomcats must be ready. Thank you, guys. Now, the Lady Eagles are dangerous, and the boys could be a dark horse. Eastern reporter Nate Moore is here with me to give me the Eagles' postseason chances.
Well, Eric, the boys are definitely a dark horse that had the potential to cause a huge upset. However, the Eagles head into the final week hungry for a tournament win. However, one thing that is absolutely crucial for Eastern to do in order to have a successful postseason run is for the role players to provide quality points and minutes. All year long, the one thing that has been consistent is the offensive play of guard Jet Facemeyer. Whether it has been driving into the lane, hitting jump shots, or getting to the free throw line, Jet has carried the bulk of the scoring load for the Eastern Eagles. However, this season has shown that in order for the Eagles to win on the hardwood, the players around Jet have to step up in some type of way. Whether that's scoring, rebounding, or even providing quality minutes off the bench, the players around Jet have to step up if they want any chance in making a successful postseason run. Eric, I know these guys can do it. In the past, when the team has played as an entire unit, they've come away with a W.
Hey, we know Jet is the man in Reedsville. The Eagles will need a complete team effort if they plan on making a run, but the girls, they've dominated all year, and they're going to start their playoff run with the 2 seed.
That's right, Eric. They should be highly confident heading into the tournament. Throughout the season, an essential characteristic is the Eagles' offensive versatility and consistency. Whether a game is home or away, blowout, or down to the last minute, the Eastern has rallied and they never drift away from their own game plan. Eastern has a wide range of effective go-to options, whether it's getting the ball down low to Elizabeth Collins, driving the lane with Laura Pullins or Allison Bailey, or even hitting shots from three-point lane with their sharpshooters Jess Parker and Becca Pullins. This team is loaded with offensive firepower. Another key positive about the Lady Eagles is their lockdown defense. In their matchup against Trimble, they forced a total of 23 turnovers and only allowed 15 first half points. Just dominant on that side of the ball.
Now, a few years ago, they were state champions. Do you think the Lady Eagles have a shot at it this year?
I seriously think they do. They have a great shot, I believe. They play every time they play, and every time they get a W, you can just see the flow of the offense. It's run smoothly, it's efficient, and they just act as an entire unit whenever they're on the court.
Now, how tough would it be if they matched up with Waterford for the state championship?
Now, Waterford did beat them, and that's going to be probably their toughest opponent going in, but it's tournament season. Anything can happen. Like I said, it's a new record. Anything can go.
And in those games, Eastern was neck and neck with Waterford. I mean, it should be a great postseason. I'm excited to see it. Thank you, Nate. Now, I do enjoy playing games, but you got to know when to handle business. And our heroes of the week make their presence felt. Blake is back on desk with me. Blake, who's your hero of the week, man?
Yeah, let me kick it off. We don't really cover Belpre all that much. Maybe Matthias Houghton is giving us a reason to go out and see him every week. The high-power guard is putting the Golden Eagles on the map, and that's why he's my hero of the week. Houghton was the leading scorer in Tuesday's win over Trimble, which was Belpre's first win over the Tomcats in 6 years. 6 years. The dude went off, 12 of 15 from the field, and he scored 26 points. And on Thursday, he put up 17 more in another conference win. So not only did my man Matthias make a dent in the scoring column this week, he led his Golden Eagles to 2 wins in a row, which is over a quarter of their total wins this season. He can score from all over. He plays stingy defense. He flies around the court. He can score inside and out. You saw him drive the lane with ease. He can hit an outside shot. He's a phenomenal asset for this Belpre team as it looks to gain some momentum toward the end of this regular season, and his importance is really showing this time of year.
And he can facilitate as well.
That's
and
right.
It's great to have a scorer on your team like that. And he plays defense?
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. My hero of the week, all I have to say is 26 points. That's all Jessie Addis needed to reach 1,000 career points. She gave River Valley 27 in 2.5 quarters. Addis outscored their entire team in 2.5 quarters, but her presence is felt on both ends of the court. She had 6 steals in this one as well. Now, I've been trying to tell y'all all year, she is aggressive, ferocious, she's a monster, and she's battled various injuries over the past few weeks, and to see her have one of the best performances of the season on senior night, it was powerful and inspiring. And the Lady Buckeyes finished the regular season strong. I've been saying it all night. It's playoff time. And they have the Crooksville Lady Ceramics on February 18th at Athens High School. Man, 1,000 points. We've had a lot of 1,000-point scorers this year, man.
I know. How cool is that, too? She's the first junior in Nelsonville, York history to reach 1,000 points. And like you said, there's been 5 so far this year, 3 boys, 2 girls. And we still have 2 shows left. Who knows what can happen? There's still plenty of time.
And we still got to talk about the playoffs. I'm excited to see what happens.
That's right, man. It's right around the corner.
Because, this is the time to shine. I mean, there's no other time like the playoffs.
Yeah, we've seen them all regular season long, but this is heroes or zeros. This is the time to figure all that out. So
and everybody needs to be a hero. Everybody should want to be a hero for the playoffs.
That's right.
But thank you for being on with me, Blake. It's always a pleasure speaking about the greatness that is the TVC. But it's time to shut it down. Keep up with all of our content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. I'm reminding you to be heroic.